Chalo guys, let's get started. So again, today we will do kinematics in kinematics 1, in which we'll be seeing motion in one dimension only. So we are starting with kinematics. Kinematics is, what is kinematics? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me what is kinematics? Sounds cool, right? It's a cool word. Theory of motion, yes. Study of motion, something moving, kinetic, right? Kinetic energy, something is moving, yes. So yes, it is, yes, motion of an object. Now that motion can be in one dimension, it can be motion in 2 dimension like this. So again, motion in a straight line or motion in a curve or motion in 3D, right? Yeah. So now let's move on. So first of all, remember the very first class, I told you about reference frame. I told about motion and its parameters. Remember, I told you about motion and its parameters. How many of you remember? Or you were sleeping, right? So again, very simple things. Motion, what is motion and its parameters? Just that you have good notes. I have prepared these for you. Please ensure that you are maintaining them. Okay? Okay, Amrit is saying yes, we were breathing. Okay, now let's have a look. So what is motion and its parameters? What is motion and its parameters? So an object is said to be in motion if its position is changing. If the position is not changing, it is not said to be in motion, right? Now, am I in motion right now? Am I right now in motion? Students? Yes or no? So it depends. If you are at rest, you should say I am at rest. If you are at rest, you are also at one point on the earth. Now let me make you visualize. Please go in the space now. I am sitting here. So this is Namo. And probably, let's say you are sitting at some other point in the globe. Let's say, let me take someone's name. Let's say this is Dheeraj, okay? Dheeraj, the last message was Dheeraj, so this is Dheeraj. Now Dheeraj is also at rest. Even I am at rest. So Dheeraj, you should say I am at rest. Even I will say even I am at rest. No, none of us are moving. But an alien who is here, he will see that the earth, the entire earth is moving. So he will say, okay, fine. Namo and Dheeraj both are moving, right? So it's all about relativity. It's all about relative to what, right? It's all about relative to what? So, but again, if something is in motion with respect to a frame, so with respect to a reference frame, we say that an object is in motion if it changes its position, okay, with the passage of time, obviously with the passage of time. If it changes its position, it is said to be in motion. Okay? Again, very basic. I'll go very slow. And now, there are 5 basic parameters necessary to study motion. Motion parameters. Okay, motion parameters. Now, these are all Chindi things. Chindi means you already know them. Like you can study, the distance of this ball. Okay, this is the distance of the ball. The ball is being thrown to the basketball is being thrown through the net. So this is the distance. Okay, now I'll also study. Okay, I'll study even more. Okay, I'll not stop at this. I'll do post-mortem. This is, you know what? This is displacement of the ball. Now, if the ball's speed, now I'll say the ball is moving with say 10 meters per second at this point. So the speed of the ball is 10 meters per second. Velocity, I will also talk about the direction, okay, in this direction. Acceleration, yes, ball is is going in a curvilinear path and not straight because there is acceleration due to gravity downwards. Okay, so these are motion parameters. Did everyone follow? Easy? We all studied them, right? But now, as we move forward, students, things are going to get interesting. And when I say interesting, that means we are also going to apply these concepts with, you know what? We are going to apply these concepts with basic mathematics, with vectors, okay? So initially we did bacha things, things which we do till 10th, but now things get really interesting. Do we want to apply vectors? Okay, that is why I said, please go through everything. Basic mathematics, vectors, be really cool in that. You'll start loving physics, okay? Yes, integration, differentiation, everything. Chalo, let's move on. Okay, distance and displacement, okay? Distance and displacement. What is distance and what is displacement? Okay? Let's have a look at it. With all that we have studied, okay? Now you will see that everything that we have studied comes into play. Now this is the mature way of understanding distance. Distance is the actual length of the path. For example, I take the road. So this is the distance. Okay, and again, what was the dimension of the distance? Remember we did this? It will be L. M0, we usually, physics we have this disease of always writing MLT. We usually love writing MLT, not everything. So that is why we are writing m raised to the power 0. This is nothing but L only. Dimension of distance is L. Apart from that, SI unit, my dear students, SI unit of distance is meter. Okay, SI unit is meter. Okay, meters, and it's a scalar quantity. It's a scalar quantity because when you're talking about distance, you're not usually you're not talking about direction. Okay, it's like I'm just taking circles, and I say, oh, I traveled a lot of distance around my building, right? Say 5 kilometers, 2 kilometers, whatever. Yes, this is the Google Maps. Obviously, the generation is changing, so I had to change my slides also according to that. Okay, so this is the distance, but if you are taking a drone, so you will be going via displacement. Obviously, you will take the shortest path because in air there is no traffic right now, at least right now. Who knows 10 years from now? Okay. Clear, students? What is distance? Any doubts? Any doubts? Easy, right? Chalo. What is displacement? Now this rat. Okay, again, it's a vector quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity. Displacement means if you go from here to here, this is the start and this is the end. What is the displacement vector? Displacement is denoted by S. Displacement vector is this vector. This is displacement vector. This is what you call. And this is the length of that vector. This is the direction of that vector. Okay, so this is the minimum distance between the initial and the final points. It's a vector quantity. SI unit is meter. Dimensions is L only. Now this is the distance that the rat took to go to the cheese, and this is the direct. This is the displacement. What is the displacement of the rat? From this point to this point. Okay, it does not matter what path he took. His displacement is that much. Okay? Initial and final. Chalo. Now let's have a look at, are we ready for the next question, students? That is going to come in distance and displacement? Not yet. I would like you to take you through some more theory. Come on. Okay, so distance is always greater than displacement. I know all of you know this, but if you have missed out, students, always remember, distance can be equal to displacement also, but it is always greater than or equal to. So if you, for example, if you're going from here to here directly, okay, if you're walking from here to here, then the distance is equal to displacement. But if you're taking a longer route, that is your distance, and the displacement is the shortest distance. Okay, so this is pretty oral. I think all of you know this, right? Everyone knows this, right? Chalo. 4K clear. Okay, nice. Adeshpal is saying 4K clear. So initially, I think 1 year back, I had this, I don't know, someone told me that this 4K TVs are really good and brilliant. So I got crazy after that. I didn't buy a TV for a very long time. And the first TV that I bought was a 4K TV. Yes. And I agree. 4K is really awesome. Okay. So guys, let's not digress. Distance and displacement. Difference between distance and displacement. Yes. So again, what is the difference? Bookish difference. I think this is especially for your schools. You should know how to write. So again, first point is distance is a scalar quantity. This is a vector quantity because it has magnitude and direction both. Okay. So again, and then for a closed path, distance is non-zero. For example, if I'm going like this and coming back, closed path, distance, this is my distance. Okay. But in displacement, for a closed path, for example, from here, if I'm going here, my displacement is 0, right? My displacement is 0, but here distance is not equal to 0 for a closed path. And here, total length of the path, shortest distance. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's quickly do this question without wasting any time. Everybody on a piece of pen and paper. Come on, everyone solve this with me. So here I'm adding a grid, students, just a minute. Let's solve this question in a grid. So here I'm drawing the axes, okay? And now let's do it. A farmer goes 500 meters north, okay? 500, let the farmer go 500 meters north. Let's say this is 500. So this is 500 meters north, okay? 500 meters north. So the farmer was here, and then 400 meters due east, okay, 400 meters due east, 400 meters east he went, and then 200 meters due south, okay, 200 meters due south, so 200 meters in the southward direction, visualize, and he reached his field. So basically, what is the distance he had to walk? So distance is what? 500 plus 400 plus 200. This is the distance. What is the displacement? Again, it's simple geometry. This is the displacement, right? This is S, right? This is the S vector. You have to talk about direction as well, okay? What is the displacement? So you have to talk about direction also. So this will be 200, so this will also be 200 and 500, so 200, 300. So 300 and 400. Remember, it's the famous Pythagorean triplet of 3, 4, 5 or 3n, 4n, 5n. So this will be 500. 500 meters will be the displacement, right? Yeah. And in what direction? And in what direction, students? So this is also very important. So how did I get this 500? S is equals to under root of 300 square plus 400 square. So here, from here, I will get S vector displacement ka magnitude is equals to 500 meters. Okay, if you want to write the vector also you can write S vector is equals to 400 in the I cap direction. So I can say 400 I cap plus this is 300 j cap. 300 j cap. This is the vector. Or you can also, now again, if you want to tell, if someone wants to know the direction from the x axis, find the direction. What is this theta? Okay, so this is what? Construct the triangle. So this will be what? 400. And this will be what? 300. So it will be what? Tan theta will be equal to 3 by 4, or theta is equals to 37 degrees. Right? So you can find everything. You can practically find everything. So usually when this is the resultant, you can easily say resultant tan theta of the resultant will be equal to the y component upon the x component, like dy by dx. So you can also visualize it like this, the y component upon the x component. Not always, you have to be careful about what theta I'm talking about. So construct this triangle. Okay, everyone can easy till here? Good question for a kickstart. Okay. Okay, now let's proceed. Yes, Kushagam, please, let's move on. So again, this is the formal solution for all of you. Yes, we did this correctly. 1100 was our first answer, right? Distance is 1100. Yes, 1100 meters, and this is 500. Displacement is 500, so this will be 500. 53 meters east of north. 53 or 37, you can take anything. So I took. So they are taking. From east they are taking, right? From east they are taking. So here in this case, if you see, this angle will be 53 degrees. Okay, this angle will be 53 degrees because this is a bigger side, and this will be 37. This will be 37 degrees because this is 300. So this angle will also be 37 degrees. So I took this direction. Okay, anyways, now let's have a look at the next one. Changes in distance and displacement of a particle when it changes the direction of motion. So understand this. What is the change in distance and displacement of a particle when it changes its direction of motion? Okay? That means I'll take the very simple case. That distance and displacement. Let's understand this. Now a particle, if it's changing its direction, for example, if there's a particle which goes here first and then comes here. So what is the distance? This is the distance, right? But what is the displacement? The displacement in such a case will be this. This is the displacement. Understand? This is the displacement, net displacement. Now, many of you will ask me, what did I just do? What did I just explain? So what I'm saying is, first you do a displacement from one point to another. From A to B, you do a displacement of S1. And then from B to C, you do a displacement back of S2. So what is your net displacement? So this is your S1 vector and this is your S2 vector. So your net displacement vector will be sum of both the vectors, S1 plus S2. This vector plus this vector will give me net displacement. So this is your net displacement. When you do S1 minus S2, this is what you're going to get, right? So if this can be applied n times. For example, if I talk about n displacements, let's have a look at one proper example. For example, if I have, say, from origin, so this is origin 0, 0, 0, okay, again 3D. So this is S1 vector somewhere in space. After this, from this point, I'm going to this vector. Might be in the same plane, might not be in the same plane. and then I have a displacement vector S3. Okay, and then from here I have another displacement vector S4 and multiple like this. Okay, multiple like this. So what is the net displacement vector? We know this is S4, S5, S6, S7 and Sn types. So basically what will be the final displacement will be this vector from here to here, but it will, whatever that vector is, will be a vector sum of S1 plus S2 plus S3 plus S4 plus S5 plus S6 plus S7. So again, so a trick question which probably you can get in your test also. So again, this is no hint. So because I don't know if it's there or not, but again, for example, if I give you a question, students, okay, if I give you a question that there is a hexagon, okay, there is a hexagon, regular hexagon, let's say it's a regular hexagon of side, how many sides? It has say 8 sides. It has 8 sides. So in the 7 sides, you have a force, right? If I try to draw it, it will be something like this. Someone try to solve this question, okay? Later also. I'll quickly just brush you through it. So basically, if I start applying a force or a displacement for that matter, so this is a force F, this is another force F, this is another force F, this is another force F, and there's another force F, and then there's another force F, and then one more force F. 7 forces, okay? Not the last side is not there, okay? So now this side, this is missing. Here there is no force. Now if I say in a regular hexagon, or sorry, octagon, in a regular octagon, what is the resultant force? Can someone tell me what is the easiest way to find the resultant force? How will you sum all these vectors? F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4, so many, these are different vectors. How will you sum all of them? Now if I give you 20, remember, now understand, I mean if I give you 20, how will you solve it? 20 or 30 like that? Yes. No, the best way, see, I'll tell you the best way. So just assume, students, now this is actually lateral, please focus here. So just assume that the last vector, okay, if the last vector was there, okay, if the last vector was there, if it was there, so basically, if I say that this is say B vector, or X vector, let's call it X vector. So I will say how much? F1 plus F2 plus F3 falana till F7 plus X vector. Understand? Plus X vector will be equal to what? 0. Like displacement, right? Will be equal to 0. Closed loop. So what is X vector? X vector. So basically X vector minus of X vector is equals to summation of all these F's. So all the summation of all these vectors, your answer will be nothing but this vector. This will be your F net. Just the direction will be here. When you sum all of these, it will be here. And that much will be the length. Did everyone follow? Easy, right? The last side. Any doubts? Any doubts, students? No, right? Perfect. Okay, so now let me give you an application of this. Okay, now let's quickly test you. So this is a pentagon, right? This is a pentagon, and here I am applying, and let's say this is the x-axis. Okay, this is the x-axis like this. Okay. Proper I cap j cap you have to tell me. Now there's a vector in this. This is say 5 Newton. Again, equal to the length, so basically all magnitude will be same. 5 Newton, 5 Newton, and 5 Newton. Okay? So I'm applying forces here, 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 and here. What is the resultant vector? Quickly, in I cap, j cap. So this is y and this is x. What is the resultant vector? It's a regular. Yes, it's a regular pentagon. What will it be? So your resultant will be what? So, so your resultant will be exactly from here to here. It will be 5 I cap. Your resultant will be 5 I cap. Understood why? Understood? Yes, 5 I cap. It will be 5 I cap. Resultant of all these 4 forces, F1 plus F2. So this is F1, F2, F3, F4, right? Plus F3 plus F4. will be equal to what? 5 I cap. Will be equal to 5 I cap. Now, if someone did not answer this, did not understand this, let me explain this to you. Let's assume that there is a force here, say x vector, right? So I will say F1 plus F2 vector plus F4 vector, F3 भी डाल दो, plus x vector is equals to 0, right? What is x vector? X vector is 5 minus 5 I cap. This is minus 5 I cap, right? Minus 5 I cap. So take this to the other side. So this entire thing which we have to find, summation of all the forces is equals to 5 I cap. Right? Did you understand? It will be a vector in the opposite direction completing the loop. Did everyone understand this? Easy, right? Okay. Chalo. So it's a good thing that you should know. Okay, now let's get back to this. In this case, what is the distance? It is nothing but magnitude of first displacement and magnitude of second displacement. So path length total. So magnitude, this is the distance, magnitude of S1, magnitude of S2. So net displacement was S1 vector plus S2 vector. This is magnitude of this plus magnitude of this. If there are n, magnitude of n. Okay, great. Let's proceed. Okay, now this is a good question. Everybody try this out. See, quickly do it. Now, don't waste on a lot of time in this. See, this is the origin. Quickly draw the origin always. Draw the origin. And from the origin, the particle moves to 10, 0. So this is 10, 0. Okay, 10, 0. So he actually travels 10 here. Okay, he travels 10. And then comes back 2 meters towards the origin. So from 10, from here, he'll come back 2. So the net distance is 8. So he's at 8, 0. So what is the net displacement of the particle? Net displacement is starting and ending point. So what will it be? 8 I cap. It will be 8 I cap, right? This vector. 8 I cap. Everyone followed? Easy? Okay. Chalo, let's move on. Okay. Now let's talk about speed and velocity quickly. What is speed? Speed is a scalar. Speed is what we see on the speedometer. We usually don't talk about direction when we talk about speed, right? Speed cannot be negative, all of those things. So, but again, what is important for all of us, especially for our preparation for JEE, is average speed. What is average speed? It is the ratio of the distance covered by a particle upon the total time taken. So what is V average? V average is equals to total distance. Again, sorry, this is not velocity. So when I write V average, it means average speed. This means average speed. If I put a vector, it will mean that it is average velocity. So it will be total distance upon total time. What is average velocity? It is total displacement upon total time, right? Yes. So here speed is a scalar quantity. Meters per second is the MKS unit. Centimeters per second is the CGS. L by T is the dimension. M raised to the power 0, L, T raised to the power -1. Okay, Khushikam has a doubt. Khushikam, quickly tell me what your doubt is. Radar in a plane is vector, question mark is Dheeraj's doubt. Dheeraj, I did not understand your doubts, beta, please. Okay, 10 coordinate is 10 meters away. Yes. Khushikam, yes. So basically that was your doubt, right? That was your doubt. So beta, understand. So when the coordinate axis is given and if nothing else is given to you and the unit that you see is meters, so this is 10 meters. Okay, you'll take the SI unit in any case when it's not given. Okay. Chalo. Now actually a valid doubt. Good. So basically this is average speed. Now we'll see the applications of this. Now before that, I have instantaneous speed. Now what is instantaneous speed? What you see on the speedometer. Okay, I'm driving my car. At one instant I'm 100. At the very next instant, I'm 110, right? So it continuously changes at one instant. So when the speed of an object constantly changes, you are usually looking at instantaneous speed at a particular moment or an instant, okay? And how do we denote it? We denote instantaneous speed as dx by dt, okay? At a particular instant, okay? So at a particular instant, why dx by dt? Now many of you will ask, at a particular time, very small time, dt time, okay, very small. the distance covered is dx. So that instantaneous speed in that very small, infinitely small time or an instant, it will be dx by dt will be your speed. So that is your instantaneous speed, dx by dt. Okay, it is a scalar quantity. This speed, whenever you're talking about speed, it's not a vector, it's a scalar, and definitely meters per second, the same thing. Easy stuff. Okay, average velocity. What is average velocity? Average velocity is defined by total displacement upon total time. Very important. Total displacement will be x2 minus x1 vector. Now many of you will ask me what is x2 minus x1 vector. Now look at this rat. Okay, so this is the origin. If this is the origin 0, 0 and this is the coordinate x1, okay, so x1, so x1 vector, so this is the x1 displacement vector, and the final displacement vector is x2, and obviously what is the net displacement covered? Will be what? x2 minus x1, right? x2 minus x1. So that is why x2 minus x1 is the displacement vector upon t2 minus t1, because we are representing this vectorially, okay, vectorially. Or you can easily say v average, you can also say this is equals to displacement, final displacement vector minus or position vector, initial vector upon total time taken, okay, tf minus ti. Okay, easy, right? Okay, now anyways students, please don't get confused with all this, because whenever we see problems, we are going to very mathematically, very practically going to solve it. Okay, so just understand it is total displacement upon total time. That's enough for you guys for now. Now let's have a look. Everybody, please don't focus on the chat. We'll come to the slope. Kanishk beta, we'll come to the slope. Yes. We will come to the slope. Yes, I think many of you are saying delta x upon delta t. Delta x upon delta t. Average velocity. See, listen. I think many of you are getting confused here. See, it is delta x upon delta t, definitely. It is. But again, whenever you're talking about average velocity, that means, understand, it's not for an instant. You took some time, you traveled some distance, from some end point you went to a final point, visualize it. So this is the net displacement, right? So this is the net displacement in that time duration, from t is equals to 0 to t is equals to t. So total time is t minus 0. And what is the displacement? x2 minus x1, right? From some origin. So that is a vectorial way. So that is most important for you guys right now. Okay, any doubts? Still here? Okay, anyways, let's move on. So again, one very important example. What will be the velocity of a particle? What will be the velocity of a particle if it changes its direction? What will happen to the velocity of a particle? It means what will happen to the velocity of a particle when it changes its direction. A very simple example taken: a ball is going up. Initially, it was thrown with u. The velocity will keep decreasing because of the gravity acting downwards. Finally, it will become 0, right? At the topmost point, so velocity's direction will keep on decreasing. Velocity will keep on decreasing, direction is upwards. And then, after velocity becomes 0, okay? Now, this is very important. After the velocity becomes 0, basically whenever, this means that if the body is reversing its direction, okay? If the body is reversing its direction, that essentially means that the velocity has come to a halt and then it's coming back, right? So at one point in time, it must have become 0. Everyone visualize this? Did everybody visualize this? The velocity vector is becoming lesser, 0, and then changes the direction. Yes, it's common sense, right? Yes, it's common sense. For a particle constrained, now we have taken an example. This was a particle which was constrained to move in a straight line. So this is a particle which will always move in a straight line only, until and unless we throw it at an angle. So that is why we took this example. When you throw a ball up, it reaches the highest point and then it changes its direction after the velocity becomes 0. Okay, one very important thing about the velocity here. So examples of speed and velocity. Now we'll quickly run through some examples of speed and velocity. Okay. Now, come on everyone. A particle goes from A to B in a semicircle, okay, in a semicircle like this of radius 1 meter. So what is the distance? Distance is pi r, half of 2 pi r, so it will be pi into 1. So this distance is pi. Distance covered is pi. So what is average speed? If I talk about average speed, it is total distance, which is pi upon total time. Total time is 1 second, right? So it is pi meters per second. Am I right or am I right, students? Average speed. Easy? Right. Now find the magnitude of average velocity. Magnitude of average velocity. First, average velocity ढूंढते हैं. First, let's find the average velocity. Now take x and y direction. X and y. Okay, first magnitude ढूंढते हैं. Let's find the magnitude. So what is the displacement? Because average velocity, whenever I'm talking about average velocity, it is total displacement, right? Total displacement upon total time, right? So actually it is moving like this, but displacement कितना है? Displacement is 2, time taken is 1, so it is 2 meters per second. Now velocity, direction of velocity is in this direction. Velocity is in this direction all the time, right? Again, average velocity. From here to here for this point in time, the average velocity will be in this. This is what is this? This vector that I have drawn. This is the displacement vector, my dear students. This is the displacement vector, and this will also be the average velocity vector. Why? If this is displacement vector, what is this displacement vector? Is what? 2 j cap minus 2 j cap, like x and y. So this will be, obviously I have written it like this. So this will be y, this will be x. It is minus 2 j cap. Everyone agrees? Displacement vector. What is the velocity vector? Velocity vector will be equal to s vector by time taken. That is 1. So both these vectors will look like this. Everyone follows? Minus 2 j cap. Again, taking any convention does not matter. Taking any convention, you just have to find the magnitude, which is 2. Okay. So again, formal solution here for all of you, average speed is equals to total distance upon total time, pi r by 1, which will be equal to pi only. R is 1. Now let's have a look at the second part. Yes. Displacement is 2. Yes, it is 2 meters per second. Direction, I have told you that extra part, how to do the direction. Now everybody, without wasting any time, quickly, a car covers first half of the distance. Now this is a very easy question. You can expect these kind of questions only in your easy entrance examinations, which are speed based. Okay, not for all entrance regional examinations, but again, a good question for the concept. A car covers the first half of the distance in between two places at 40 kilometers per hour and the second half at 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, now if someone is thinking 40 and 60 average is what? 50, and they mark 50. Again, I will say think twice. I'm not saying 50 is not the answer, but I'm just giving you an idea. Please think twice, work it out on paper. Yogesh is saying 50 meters per second for sure. Please work it out on a piece of paper. Okay? I will explain the problem till you guys solve it. A car is covering the first half of the distance. So the total distance is d. So first half is covered d by 2. And the second half is also d by 2. Right? So this is covered in 60-40 does not matter. So I'm saying this is 40 kilometer per hour and this is 60 kilometer per hour. Right? 40 kilometers per hour, 60 kilometers per hour. Right? Now, what happens? Now, everybody, please have a look. Everybody, please have a look. After this, what is the time taken? So basically, what is average speed? Average speed. Okay, average speed is speed, right? Is equals to total distance upon total time. Total distance is d upon total time. Total time. Now, how to know the total time? Calculate the time for this, calculate the time for this, add them up. Say this is T1, say this is T2, T1 plus T2, I'll put it here. So what is T1? What is T1? Come on everyone, what is T1? The correct answer is 48. 48 is the right answer, my dear students. Let's have a look why. Everybody, please focus. Don't underestimate this question. Time T1 will be how much? What is time? Distance upon velocity, right? So d by 2 upon 40. What is this time? D by 2 upon 60. Put both these times here, add it up. So what is average speed? Average speed is equals to d upon d by 80 plus d by 120. D cancel. So what do I get? 80 into 120 by 200, right? So 0 gone, gone. 2 4 into 12 is 48. 48 is the correct answer. Did everybody follow why the correct answer is 48 kilometers per hour? Yogesh did not understand the T part. What is average speed? Yogesh, what is average speed? Average time of the journey will be S, S by 80 plus S by 120, right? So this will be S by 80 and S by 120. So when you would have calculated this, what you would have got it would have been something like this, 48. Easy? Any doubts? Please ensure that probably a day from now or 2 days from now, you ensure that you get everything in your concrete with physics. Okay? Chalo. Anyways, now let's have a look at the next one.